Hello, welcome to this video. My name is Thiago Soares and I will present to you the new graphic find functionality in the UX Move application. The agenda for today is I will first explain how the user can add rooms to the request using the floor plan. Next, I will explain the difference between adding a workpoint room and a non-workpoint room. I will explain what is the tools and the legend for the floor plan, and how the user can change the building and the floors while searching for the rooms. So let's start. When I create a group move request, my first step is to search and add the items that I want to be moved. I can search for persons, for assets, for equipment, and rooms. When I am searching for rooms, can I select the rooms using the floor plan? Or I have only the option to search the room and select it from a result list. When we are trying to add a room to the group move request, there are two different ways of doing that. The first is selecting in the search page the room search, indicated by this icon. The room search enables the user to search for a room. It will receive a result list, and in that result list the user can select one or more rooms to be added to the request. The second option is the location search, denoted by this icon. When the user selects this option in the search page, he selects a building and a floor and uses the floor plan to select the rooms to be added to the group move request. The location search starts in the search page when the user selects the location search, indicated by this icon. After that, the user must search and select a building. In this example is the Charlotte Watson Center, and needs to select one or more floors in that building. So after select one building and the floors, the user hits the Done button. If the selected floor has an associated floor plan, the user can select one or more rooms to be added to the group move request. Each people, asset, or equipment directly associated with the rooms is denoted by a pin in the floor plan. That way, the user can easily know what are the items associated with each space in the floor plan. The selected rooms are shown in blue in the floor plan. In this example, we have this room selected, this one, and this one. After the user has selected all the rooms to be added, he must hit the update button. The user can select and add only the rooms that are colored in the floor plan. A room that is not highlighted cannot be selected. A room is selectable if it meets one of the following requirements. It's not retired and it is not a workpoint. It's not retired and it is a workpoint, and that room has at least one people, asset, or equipment directly associated with it. To understand what I am talking about here, I will switch to the group move application and show how to add a room using the floor plan. Now I am running the group move application. I just created a new group move request and I am on the search page. On the search page, we can select the type of the search. In this case, I want to add rooms by selecting the rooms on the graph. So I will select the location search. The location search starts by searching for the building. I will search for the building called Charlotte Watson Center. After select the building, we need to select the floor. We can select one or more floors to be searched. I will select the first two floors. and click the Done button. It shows the floor plan for the first floor. All the highlighted spaces can be selected by the user and added to the request. The rooms that are not highlighted cannot be selected. A room is selectable if it is a work point and also has a person, an asset, or an equipment associated to that room, or if the room is not a work point. The work point is defined by the space class, not directly by the space. So this room, for example, have a space class that is not a work point. That's why it is selectable. This room here, it is a work point, and it is selectable because it has one person associated directly to that room. All the persons, asset, and equipment directly associated to the room appears in the graphic as pins, so the user can easily see if a room has or not a associated person, asset, or equipment. To select and add a room, we just need to select that room. It will get a blue color. I can select one or more. I will select 2. The action bar shows to me that I have selected 2 items. If I want to add that 2 items to the request, I just click Update. It shows a message indicating that is adding, and after that a success message saying that it was added to the request. The rooms that are not work point are added to the request as a room function. So this room, named Full Fighters, was added to the request as a room function. But this room that is a work point, it was not added as a room function. Instead, the application added everything that was inside that room. In this case, I just have one person, so just one person was added to the request. If there is more than one item in the same space, the application will show a pin with a counter inside the pin, indicating that that space has multiple items like multiple persons, multiple assets, or multiple equipment, or a mix of them. If I click that pin, it shows that we have all these items associated to that. If I select this room and click Update, it will be added to the request, but because the room it is a work point, the room is not added as a room function to the group move. Instead, all the 5 items associated with that space were added individually to the group move request. So we can see that all items inside this space were added as individual items to the group move. Now let's summarize the difference between work point and non-work point rooms. When the user select and add a room that is a work point, the application adds every person, asset, and equipment associated to that room as individual items to the group move request. In this example, the user select a space with 2 items. One is a person, the other is an asset. When the user added that room to the request, because it is a work point, the 2 items were added as individual items to the group move request. But if the room being added is not a work point, the room is added as a room function, and it will appear inside the room sections in the group move request. In this example, the Ramones room was added as a room function to the group move request. Now I will explain the floor plan tools that is available on the graphic. This first button enables the user to move the floor plan around the screen. So the user clicks the graphic and move the floor plan. And he can also zoom in and zoom out the graphic using mouse wheel or using the pinch gesture on touch device. The second tool that the user can select is indicated by this icon, and it is the multiple selection tool. When it is enabled, the user can select a point in the graphic and move the mouse around the spaces he wants to select, and it will appear as a rectangle, and all spaces inside that rectangle will be selected. One important point here is that the zoom and pan function cannot be enabled at the same time as the multiple selection tool. We can enable one or the other, not both at the same time. The floor plan for the location search also has a legend. The legend has 3 sections. The first section is called the location pin. It enables the user to hide and show the icons that appears on the graphic. He can hide and show all the icons or just the selected ones. The second section on the graphic legend controls which spaces are highlighted in the graphic. The highlighted space denotes the organizations associated with each space. The user can select one or more organizations that he wants to see highlighted on the graphic. Each organization has a color, and that color is defined by the color attribute of the organization. If the user wants to change that color, he can edit the organization and change the color property in the organization form. Now, if the space has more than one organization associated with it, the room will be highlighted with striped colors. Each strip color corresponds to one organization. In this example, this room is associated with 2 organizations, the conference service and the contract management. The third section of the graphic legend is the filter by. This section filters out the rooms that does not satisfy the filter by selected criteria. It's possible to filter based on the space class of each room. In this example, we are highlighting only the spaces that has the training space class. Let's open again the group move requests. I will switch to the second floor of the Charlotte Watson Center. We see that this floor has many items associated with the space. Here we have the tools that we can enable and disable. The first tool is the pan and zoom. When this tool is enabled, I can click the floor and move it around. And also I can use the mouse wheel to zoom in and zoom out the floor plan. When I enable this tool, I can select multiple rooms at the same time. I click anywhere in the graphic, hold down the button, it will appear a rectangle. Every space inside that rectangle will be selected. We selected 7 items here. The other tool is the graphic legend. The graphic legend can be opened clicking this bar right to the graphic. The first section on the graphic legend is called the location pins. It enables us to hide and show the pins on the graphic. I can hide all the pins, and I can enable the pins individually. I can, for example, select the people just to see the persons located on the floor. Or I can select the asset to see only the asset pins on the floor. The second section is the show by section that allows the user to highlight the space based on the organization associated with each space. By default, all the organizations is pre-selected, but if the user wants to highlight just one organization, he can deselect all and highlight only the organizations that he selects. The third section of the graphic legend is the filter by section that allows the user to filter the space by the space class. By default, all the space classes are pre-selected, but if the user wants to show the spaces that has just one specific space class, he can deselect all and select the space class that he wants to highlight. For example, I want to highlight only the rooms that are associated with the space class called meeting, or just the ones associated with the workstation space class. While using the location search, the user can switch between the floors using the tabs above the floor plan. We have this example that the user selected the Charlotte Watson Center and selected the floors 1, 2 and 3. He can switch between the floors clicking on the tab. The user can also add or remove the floors, or change the building by clicking on the change link. When the user selects a building in a floor, the application pre-selects all the space that are already added as a room function to the group move request, and also pre-select the space that has at least one people, asset or equipment added to the request. The user can remove a room from the request by deselecting on the floor plan and click on the update button. If the user selects a floor that has no floor plan associated, the application will show a list of the space in a result list. If the floor has a floor plan, the user can select between the graphical visualization and the list visualization using the buttons highlighted in this example. Now I have a group move request that has already some items added, like it has 2 people and 5 rooms added to this request. If I return to the location search and select a building and select the first floor, it will pre-select all the spaces that are added as rooms functions to the request, and also will pre-select the spaces that has at least one people, asset or equipment associated with it that is added to the request. If I want to remove any of these selected rooms from the request, I can select it. It will not get the blue color anymore, and the action bar says that I deselected one item. And also I will deselect the space that has this arrow price, so I will deselect 2 items. If I click update, the 2 items were removed from the request. When I am searching using the location search, I can add or remove the floors on the building that I selected. For example, if I want to add some rooms from the second or the third floor, I can click the change button and just click the floors that I want to add or remove. In this case now I can switch from the floor 1 to the floor 2 to the third floor. If I have selected some rooms or deselected, like in this case, I can select to add and deselect it to remove, and try to change the floor, the application will show a warning message saying that I have some items that was not added yet to the request. In this case, I can continue. It will update all my selections to the request, or I can cancel and return to the floor plan again. I can also change the whole building. I just need to clear the search and search for another building, like for example, Chicago Plaza. I select the floor and I change it, the building and the floor. If I change the building and select a floor that has no associated floor plan, the application will show a list of the spaces that belong to that floor, so I can select or deselect using that list. If the building and the floor has a floor plan associated, the user can switch between the graphical visualization and the list visualization using the buttons in this bar. This button shows the space as a list, and click here, the user can see the space in the floor plan. So that's it for today. We covered how to use the graphical option for searching and add the items to a group move request. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.